A bill introduced in October 2021 by Ilham Omar passed the House of Representatives along party lines. The bill now goes to the Senate. The bill requires the Secretary of State to establish an office to monitor and combat Islamophobia in the State Department. That office would be responsible for assessing acts of Islamophobia and Islamophobic incitement. Omar said during her floor speech that the nation's leadership requires the recognition that Islamophobia is a global problem in protection of religious freedom in America. She affirmed, "The truth is that anti-Muslim hate is on the rise both here at home and around the world." Citing examples which she saw as indications of Islamophobia, racism, white supremacy, etc., she concluded that we are in the midst of a staggering anti-Muslim violence and discrimination around the world. But those atrocities are part of a deeper fabric of violence against Muslims and impunity for violence against Muslims at a global level. And she concluded, until everyone is free to practice their religion, no one is. But in her defense, it is evident that in terms of the First Amendment of the American Constitution, no one should be allowed to harass and do acts of violence against anybody, including Muslims. But Omar does not define the term Islamophobia with precision. She uses it as a propaganda tool for creating a climate of fear to criticize Islam among people in general, especially Christians. So we must define the word for her. What is a phobia? A phobia is an irrational fear of something, or an irrational fear of a specific situation that compels one to avoid it despite the awareness and reassurance that is not dangerous. It is a strong, persistent, abnormal, irrational fear, dislike, or aversion bordering on the mental. But I ask you, is everyone who disagrees with the violent aspects of Islam guilty of Islamophobia or white supremacy or racism? No, not really. For example, if you disagree with the many acts of terrorism committed in the name of Mohammedan or Allah, the forced marriage of young girls to old men against their will, the sale of black slaves that happens to this day in Africa, the female genital mutilation of thousands of girls, the honor killings of girls whose families disagree with the way that they dress or wear makeup or date an infidel, the bloody persecution of Christians in countries of Islamic majority, the burning of schools and churches in so many places, the kidnapping of schoolgirls, the killing of Catholic priests, the beheading of so-called infidels. In short, the bloody saga of Muslim violence and terrorism, which is well known to this day. It deserves special mention the acts of violence, harassment, and execution of Muslims who dare leave Islam, the apostates. Now, if anyone who opposes such acts of violence is an Islamophobe, then every American should be Islamophobe. But it is not so. You can oppose these acts of violence and injustice without being Islamophobe in the least. I would like to ask Ilham Omar to be consistent, to put into practice her famous sentence, "Until everyone is free to practice their religion, no one is." Every American who believes and accepts the freedom guaranteed by the First Amendment must defend the right of every Muslim to practice or to leave Islam in this country and in the world, to freely convert to Christianity if they so wish, without any fear of harassment, coercion, and death on the part of the Islamic supremacists. Those many men and women who feel themselves prisoner to an ideology, whose followers will harass them and threaten to kill them if they say they want to be Christians. They must have their right to convert respected. Such people must have the freedom to convert, because until everyone is free to practice their religion, no one is. Like Ilham Omar, I have also received the American citizenship, and I must defend the Constitution, which includes the First Amendment, the right of Muslims to leave Islam to convert to Christianity if they so wish. This right must be protected by law and enforced by the authorities, which are called to punish those who force people to stay in Islam against their will. Ilham Omar, this is not Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, or Somalia. This is America. In your country, conversion out of Islam, apostasy, is prohibited by Sharia law, and the penalty is death. If Ilham Omar is to have any credibility at all, she must be consistent with her own words and clearly and publicly defend the right of every Muslim to leave Islam, especially to convert to Christianity if they so wish. Because until everyone is free to practice their religion, no one is. Freedom of Muslims to convert to Christianity without any fear of harassment, coercion, and above all, death in America and everywhere in the world must be respected and protected. And the jihadists who threaten to the converts must be severely punished. Until everyone is free to practice their religion, no one is. That sentence must necessarily include the Muslims who wish to leave Islam and convert to Christianity. Let Ilham Omar publicly defend and guarantee the right of Muslims to convert without any fear of harassment, coercion, and especially death. If she does not defend that right and choose to remain silent, her legislation against the so-called Islamophobia is just a cheap sham, a sad joke, a political propaganda maneuver to intimidate all opposition, to reduce critics to silence in order to promote the spread of Islam in this country and in the world. Is there a member of Congress who has the courage to propose a bill that will give all Muslims the right to leave Islam, to convert to Christianity, and to severely punish anyone who harass, coerce, and threaten to kill a Muslim who wants to convert? Or will this request be ignored and the status quo of Islamic violence against converts be maintained? In short, freedom-loving Republicans and also Democrats in Washington, D.C. are invited to promote and support a bill to protect the right of Muslims to convert, lest Ilham Omar anti-Islamophobic bill be used to promote the Islamization of America to the detriment of the First Amendment of the American Constitution. I'm Raymond de Souza from Sacred Heart Media. God bless you.